other Milk Crate moments. Hold on, I want to pop that logo up there and make sure that's being seen. Oh, okay, well, there we go. Okay, so today my very special guest is, oh my gosh, one of the sweetest women I have ever met. We met about, oh, probably about a year ago. It was a year ago in June we met in person in
Yes.
North Carolina,
Yes.
in Asheville, North Carolina, right?
That's right. Yes.
And yeah, and Amy's from the Chicagoland area, but we did not know each other when she lived here. And Amy she helps students get into college via writing their essay. Is that correct, Amy?
Yes, that is correct, Jean. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
So
Correct.
before we talk about that, though, Amy, I always like to start with Amy, what was your milk crate moment?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you, Jean, for having me, and appreciate you giving me the time of day, and it's a pleasure to get to know you. So thank you. And my milk crate moment, I think we've all had a few of them, but my milk crate relates to, my business, and a pivotal part was stopped teaching. So I used to teach at New Trier High School. Family moved to North Carolina, and I had writing, and I had started working with students for these college admissions essays, and lovely, nice referrals, and it's great. But I just felt this, like this urge to serve more students, especially with stress put on parents and families and students in light of the confinement with college admissions. So I just felt really frustrated with how to take my skills, how to take the offered and get it out there in the world. So I really didn't know what to do. Time happy with what I was doing, but just kind of felt stuck.
And so you're working with college age kids who were ready to go off to school. And were you tutoring them on their essay or were you tutoring them around something else as well?
Yes. So I started off tutoring really needed students who were so frustrated with, why can't I get an A? And these were students who go to elite or second elite schools. And let's face it, you really can't to be. And they had these heavy expectations, kind of like me with my business. They didn't know how to get there. They didn't know how essays. So I started off tutoring, just like English class, literature analysis essays. And then once we moved to North Carolina, a neighbor of mine who was from the Midwest said, wait a minute, do you teach? And I told her the name. She said, oh, that's like word of the Midwest. And she said, do you tutor college admissions essays? I said, well, of course I do. Thing you knew, I had her son who was on the varsity team, and his buddy was around our dining room table, and I'm teaching them how to write these college admissions. So word spread quickly. It was really fabulous.
Hold on one second. I have a question. So did you really at that point teach that? Or did you like, when the opportunity presented itself, did you like, yeah, I can do that? Right? So did
Yeah. So I did. I know it'd be better if I never did. I mean, actually, quite honest, like parents here, like, are you kidding me? That's I used to teach. We would embed how to write college admissions essays in the English curriculum, and they had phenomenal college consultants who worked for the school there, right, or college counselors. But I didn't teach the extent that I do now. I didn't have a process down, so I really did leap into this. These high expectations for myself that I could really teach. Just a lot of it was trial by fire, but I did have a grounding point. Yes. And so, yeah.
So you like did it in school, you incorporated it into the curriculum, and then you're like, sure, I can teach somebody how to write a college essay. I like, listen, Amy, I so would have said yes just because they asked me and I saw an opportunity, and then I would be Googling, like, how to write college essays and what do I
Right.
need to know about
Yeah.
college
Yeah.
essays?
Well, and there's certain listing because, and they say this in business, and I also with writing a thesis statement, which is scary. I mean, have you heard this? Like, the more you need, the better you're going to be, right? I would say to
Yeah.
students with their thesis statement to be more specific and arguable. They said, "Ms. Haskell, there's no way I can if I become more narrow," but actually you can. And just like us with our business, so just like the college admissions essay writing, I mean, there are books out there, is a lot out there on various ways that you can approach it. So I have been no way, right? Have I read everything out there? Yes. On creating a book myself, yes. But at the time, no, I took a great leap of faith to go full force into. But there's huge demand, and it's a lot of fun despite the stress for kids and students. So,
So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you really focus on kids that are looking to get into higher elite schools rather than
mm,
like your community college or
right.
your local.
Well, so yeah, um, where I came from, that was like the beat, right? Like Northwestern, Duke, Cornell type of student. I mean,
Mhm.
kinds of students. Elite Big Ten, SEC, and now I have a balance. I really don't yet have families that come my way that are taking the community college route. That doesn't mean we wouldn't they just haven't come my way. But really high pressure. And so students who, I mean, even before COVID, who just have not received instruction, like we even, 10, 20 years ago, we have beyond, right? I used to literally write my grandmother letters. Now, we can just send a quick text. But what hasn't changed, what hasn't changed are the college admissions to be up at this level. But the kids, for a myriad of reasons, are here. So they have this big gap in skills, a big gap in experience, and then an increase in the competitiveness of getting into school.
Interesting. All right, so
Mhm.
let's go back to your milk crate moment. That is interesting. Yeah. It's let's go back to your milk crate moment. So you're there, you're tutoring, you where did that all take a turn for the worse for you? Right? Meaning when did you and I was being a little cheeky. When did it take a turn that you actually decided to make a business out of it?
Right. Um, I started to make a business out of what I thought was out of tutoring before we moved to North Carolina.
Mhm. Right.
And then painful, you get to the point where I'm like, I can't take on it. I need to, and they need me. Mhm. Like, I think the painful part was, how do you create, I'd read about, I'm an avid reader of the things like create processes and systems. The worst thing entrepreneurs can do, along with not having processes and systems, is trying to do everything gate out. You need a marketing plan. I mean, all these things are nearly impossible to do. They can be done on your own, but I felt myself with this almost like gifts or skills and drive, having tremendous success, but really kind of like just like literally this like block in front of me as I step into all these things I knew I needed to do.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And then when did it go from tutoring? And I'm thinking that this might be part of that then. How did it go from tutoring to focusing on the essay writing?
Mhm. Mhm. So really, by demand, like the calls kept coming in, like I'd walk in, I mean, I'm living in my target, right? So I have 4 children. And so you go to these school parent parties. I go to sit at my my son's soccer game, my daughter's lacrosse game, or field hockey, and parents are like, oh, say lady. So a lot of that, but as I've learned as they grow, I mean, that strong stream of referrals will, die out eventually because my own kids will grow up. So I do is, develop these other lead gen activities, marketing, and a lot of strategies and tactics that I, once again, it's new. So it's been fun to have these leads to be a great word of mouth, but
Mhm.
I'd like to expand. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So you'd like to, I think what I'm hearing is really you're almost kind of living in your milk crate moment at this moment, between that place of running the business yourself and knowing in order to scale this, there's a technical piece right here that's missing.
Yes, so
Is that
that's a really
correct?
good point, Jean. Yes, so I that at a great moment probably 4 years ago, and
Right.
then this business has clearly moved to level, and where I am, I've heard it's very difficult because I'm bringing a team of tutors. I mean, I woke up this morning and they all had a question resource. I mean, understandably so. And I just said to
Sure.
my husband, I'm like, whoa, like this is a whole, I have a VA, my VA weeks ago quit, and now I have another, but it's catching her up to speed and all the credentials. So yes, I think I'm living a milk crate moment as
Actually, you and I hadn't talked about that, but based on what we've talked about before, I think, yeah, sometimes isn't it funny that sometimes you don't even recognize that you're there until after
mm,
you're out of it, right?
I think that's
But
so
from what I
true.
just
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's true. Having 4 teenagers on my own,
oh geez,
I,
yeah.
each of them having a milk crate moment. And it's really rewarding, although painful and difficult to let go and watch them step into and, try to be a pillar of support, yet they need to fail on their own. But yeah, the world is all having like a lot of milk crate moments, right?
I love what you just said about letting them fail on their own, right? I sent my kids to super camp now. My oldest is 38, and I sent him there when he was like 12, right? Have you ever heard of supercamp.com?
I have not. I was going to ask you, like, what is super camp?
So super camp is where a type A mother would send her children. There is no boating, no hiking, no swimming. It is classroom. It's a week of
Oh,
how to get through school, how to be successful in school, how
interesting.
to
Yeah.
take notes. I mean,
Oh, I
but they
love
made
that
it kind of
stuff. Yeah.
right. And they give them these principles, these 7 steps, 7 keys
Mhm.
of success, they called it.
Mm.
And one of them was failure leads to success,
Yes.
which literally I loved that
Yes.
because as an entrepreneur, right? If you cannot succeed, you cannot get to where you're going if you've never had a failure, right? But it was so funny. I was at a party, like a neighborhood party, and it was all women there. And I was talking about these keys to success, and one mother who apparently really, 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 really believes in higher education, really refused that her child would ever fail at anything. And I said, "Well,
Mhm.
I'm sorry for him, right? I'm really sorry for him that he
Right.
won't have that opportunity to fail." So I love that you said, you let your kids fail. It's the only way to learn, right?
Mhm, mhm,
It's
and it's
they
that
learn
fine line, right, and we live in a society parents are really scared to let their kids fail. Perhaps even with this essay writing, to feel the fact that they don't have the skills, want the skills, they're willing to try to write and to give
yeah,
them feedback and to try it again. I always say to my students, perhaps this is a good mantra for all things in life, there's no good writing. Writing. And what if we as business owners had that approach? Like, why would you think your first newsletter? I gave a word earlier business owners on how to write an effective newsletter. right? How to write
Well,
a blog post.
landing page,
A
sales
landing
page,
page.
yeah,
I mean, your first sales phone
website.
call, website. And so what if we just like, and I know we hear this analogy a lot, picture like your grandchild, like a toddler who falls so many times when toddlers learning to walk, and they don't stop. They might actually cry if they get hurt. They just get right back up. Like what that mindset, business tactics, skills that like of course fail. And so by depleting children in their of knowing and accepting that failing is wrong, mistake, perhaps we're to actually help them build these skills. You know, it's famous. What is her name? She created Spanx. Is it Sarah Blakely or something like these Spanx, these tight
I
pants?
don't know her name, but yeah, I don't know
Okay, so
her name.
she's a great LinkedIn. So she once said that you know, she's built this company, very difficult, and around the dinner, dad would embrace failure. He said, "Okay, who got a C today? Who got a test? Okay, who didn't make the team, or who's been benched?" Spinning it because that's where the lesson is. Like there's no failure. And what if we as business owners, like even in the milk crate, right? It's like, don't you think part of that this disappointment in ourselves, which is fine, and that's normal. I like, well, actually, this is great because I care. Great because I'm going to get up from that milk crate moment.
Well, I think that that could be part of it. I also think that a milk crate moment absolutely can be a failure, and it's how you come back from it. That's how I view a milk crate moment is how you have the failure, right? There's something that broke down there, but how do you respond to it and how do you come back from that? Right? It's always
Right.
like how many times can you get knocked down? You never fail when you get knocked down unless you don't get back up,
Yeah,
right? That's where the
absolutely.
failure comes.
Right, right. And I'm most interested in working with teenagers because they're still being schooled, and so many of them don't have great examples. Even if they think, you know, from the outside, it's they're, you know, been born with a silver spoon in their mouth, full suburban homes, but right, paying for a 15-year-old, for a 16-year-old, for a 17-year-old. Can we, whether it's like, right, whether it's, I had a student winter on just regular English class tutoring. And she said, oh, it's just not worth it. My teacher hates me. She does not hate you. Come on, oh no, she won't even look at me when she does. She scowls. And I was like, okay, change her personality. But what you can do is change your what you can do is change your actions. And it actually kind of be this little and adjusted as we approach the holidays. So what are you giving Miss Mean Pants? What's your holiday gift for Miss Mean Pants teacher?
Mean
Like, I'm not
pants.
giving her a gift. Oh, yeah, you are. English teacher, you're going to go get her a lovely book. You're going to wrap it up and give coffee. She's like, oh, yeah, she likes coffee. So we called and we turned it around. And the student thought, something I can control. This is coming out of giving. I can't control if she likes me or not. But they're slumped, not trying at all, walking into that classroom. In high school, there are so many life lessons, right, that span beyond the essay writing that I teach.
Yeah.
It's just what you get when you work with me. Positive coaching, need it so badly.
I agree with you. So speaking of positive coaching, right? Let's talk a little bit about what you really do. So we've talked about your milk crate moment. Let's talk about on the other end, what is it that you're really helping kids do with like you're kind of coaching them through writing their essay, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So we help kids move from, you know, feeling old and disorganized and spinning in to more confident, to understanding there's a process mixed with wonderful creativity, so that ultimately these essays can help them get into college. And there's so much going on right now with the changing landscape of admissions. So, for example, the Supreme Court just said they're ending action, and we're not going to talk for a lot about this, is a lot of the colleges are saying, what is the impact on these applications? A lot of the college consultants are. So there's so much more to the essay writing. It's really helping kids extract their strengths, their values, and then bump them along with more sophisticated writing skills. Because let's go into in life, strong writing is a way your voice can be heard, is a way you can communicate your ideas, whether it's college or graduate school admissions, or in the job world. So yeah, what I do is help this process of writing amazing, killer college admissions essays so that it's a lot less stressful.
Well, I think in this day and age that is something that is totally usable, right? So when you do this, when you help coach them through there, what's their biggest pushback? What are the kids' biggest pushback with you?
Their biggest pushback is, number one, what is my topic going to be for my main essay? So I have a couple of students right now. So this main statement, the maximum word count is 650 words. They're like, you told me to add so much more detail, and now I'm at 1,200 words. Up you, we can delete, whatever. But you're going to take out most of my story. So I'm getting a little fun pushback there. I don't have much pushback. I mean, these are kids who they want these essays to help them get into college. Or the other service is days on their English class essays, so that they girls can get into college. So not much pushback.
Awesome. Well, I think you have something here for people today. You said you came with a free offer, right?
Yes.
What was it?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. So I have my free offer that gives you techniques and strategies opening their as far as starting, whether they're college admission or your blog post. So sometimes we get really stuck with, how am I going to get? So my free offer is to these techniques and use your communications. They are specifically, the headline does say for like these admissions essays. However, I think they're for a lot of different writing. So that's my offer today.
So they find this at totalwritingenrichment.com?
Oh no, so I'm going to put that link in, right? I was going to
Oh,
put
sorry.
that. Am I going to? That's okay.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. So
Oh, you're gonna put I got it. Okay.
yeah,
You know what? Let me do it. I think I can do it here.
okay.
Let me see if I can do it. Type a message. I think that's it right there, right? Essays at
Oh yeah,
dot
yeah. So
total writing.
that's fun. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And,
so what I'm hearing you say is that even business owners can click on that and find a way to write a powerful, impactful opening line.
opening line. Yes, I think they're even useful for how to start speaking, right? Like how to have that hook at the beginning.
Oh, I love that, right? So I'll be opting in for that, right? I always like a good opening line and looking
Yes.
for ways I can improve my opening line. Amy, the last thing I always ask everybody is what piece of advice as a business owner would you offer to another entrepreneur who might be struggling in their business?
Yes, I think that the best piece of advice I've had is that truly action creates clarity. Whether it's writing or whether it's wondering what people are going to think of us, we heads. By taking action, what that does is it's a beast of fear, right? And so getting that newsletter out, those sales phone calls, following up on the phone, speaking, saying action creates clarity. So to stay in action. That's my biggest bit.
I think that's a great piece of advice. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
You're
I can't
welcome.
wait to see your opt-in there and see what the powerful things that I'm missing out on that I can create better opening lines are, because I'm sure that you have written something amazing there. And listen, you need a good book. If you don't reach out to Amy Haskell for anything else, the woman reads everything,
Yes,
right?
everything I
Don't
do.
give her matchbook cover, right? She will read the matchbook cover. Make sure that
Yeah.
you find if you want a good book to read,
Mhm.
she knows them all, right? She knows them all.
Reading a great book right now, fiction, nonfiction. I actually have a friend stopping by in about 20 books. So feel free to email me. My email is right here for
Yeah.
any book recommendations,
One,
especially for people or what are you reading?
I'm going to share the one you shared with
Oh,
me.
yeah,
This
this
one's
is
called
cool.
Happy Pocket Full of Money, Infinite Wealth and Abundance in the Here and Now. Let me tell you, chapter 2 is freaking mind-blowing, right? If you want to talk about it talks about the quantum physics basically of the law of attraction, really, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a friend in my NABO group who recommends this. She says she reads it every day and like about to like 5x her business after following and she actually says the quantum physics stuff. She's like, y'all can from North Carolina, y'all through the quantum physics part of it. I enjoyed that, but it's an abundance of new way to think about things. So
Yeah. Awesome. Amy, I just adore you. Thank you so much for being here.
same.
I appreciate you so much. And we'll talk again.
Likewise.
Sure.
Okay, very good.
Take
Bye. Thank you.